tired of knowing you're meant for more but lacking the discipline to crush your goals? In this video, grab the exact blueprint to force unbreakable self-discipline and dominate life. Starting today. Welcome to Audiobook Journey, where we deliver self-improvement masterclasses as free audiobooks. Discover 3 game changers, shatter motivation myths, turn pain into power, and build rituals elites swear by. Hit subscribe for daily blueprints, then use timestamps below to jump into any of the 12 chapters. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture this. You're standing at the edge of a vast, shadowed canyon at dawn. The wind whips around you, carrying whispers of every dream you've ever buried, every excuse you've ever whispered to yourself. Below, the abyss yawns, dark, endless, filled with the ghosts of what could have been. But ahead, across that chasm, a golden light breaks through the horizon, promising a life of triumph, mastery, and unshakable will. You've felt it, haven't you? That gnawing ache when you know you're capable of more, yet something invisible chains you back. Today, right now, we're shattering those chains. This isn't just words, it's your wake-up call, your battle cry. We're diving into the raw, unfiltered art of forcing yourself to win at life through ironclad self-discipline. By the end, you'll walk away not just inspired, but transformed, armed with the fire to conquer anything. Let's cross that canyon together. Your victory starts now. Chapter 1. The Myth of Motivation. Why Waiting Kills Dreams. Imagine standing alone on a wind-swept cliff. At the break of dawn, the first rays of sun slicing through the fog like a blade. Your heart pounds as you stare into the endless void below, where the shattered remnants of forgotten dreams lie scattered like broken glass. You've climbed here before, haven't you? That edge where hope collides with hesitation, where the life you crave feels so close yet slips through your fingers like sand. Right now, in this very moment, something inside you stirs, a quiet roar, demanding you leap. This is no ordinary chapter. This is your awakening. Welcome to the raw truth that will redefine how you chase victory. Motivation is a liar, and waiting for it is the silent killer of every dream you've ever held. Let me take you deeper into this illusion we've all fallen for. Picture a weary traveler in an ancient desert, parched and stumbling under a merciless sun. He carries a map to an oasis, but he waits for the wind to whisper encouragement, for the stars to align in perfect motivation. Days turn to weeks, his strength fades, and the sands swallow him whole. Sound familiar? We've been conditioned to believe that grand achievements spring from bursts of inspiration, those fleeting highs that make us feel invincible. You wake up, fired up after a motivational video, vowing to transform your life. The gym calls, the desk beckons, words flow onto the page, but by noon, the spark dims. By evening, it's gone. You slump back into the familiar rut, whispering, "I'll start when I feel it again." This is the myth, motivation, as the prerequisite to action. It's not just wrong, it's a prison disguised as patience. Think about the eagle soaring high above jagged peaks. Does it circle endlessly, waiting for the perfect gust of wind to propel it forward? No, it spreads its wings and dives into the storm, because hunger demands it. Survival insists. Nature doesn't negotiate with feelings. In the wild, lions don't lounge until motivation strikes. They stalk, they pounce, they conquer. Yet here we are, humans with infinite potential, shackled by this modern fable. Society peddles it everywhere, ads promising the right mindset, gurus selling unlock your inner drive. But here's the piercing truth I've come to know through years of watching lives unfold and unravel. Motivation is the shadow, not the sun. Action casts the light that pulls motivation in its wake. Let me paint a picture from the life of a woman named Lena, a quiet artist from a small coastal town. At 32, she stared at blank canvases piling up in her cluttered studio, her dreams of exhibiting in galleries fading like watercolor in the rain. "I need inspiration," she'd tell herself, scrolling through endless feeds of perfect lives, months blurred into years. Then one stormy afternoon, something snapped. Not a surge of feeling, but a cold decision. She forced her hand to the brush, just 5 strokes. No magic, no rush of euphoria the next day. Another 5. Discipline, not desire, carried her. Within weeks, colors exploded across her walls. Motivation arrived late to the party, born from the sweat of persistence. Today, her work hangs in cities she once only dreamed of visiting. Lena didn't wait for the muse. She summoned the warrior. This revelation strikes at the heart of why so many wander lost. We romanticize the feeling, mistaking it for the fuel. But feelings are fickle guests. They arrive uninvited and leave without notice. Discipline, on the other hand, is the steadfast architect, building empires brick by unyielding brick. When you force the first step without fanfare, something profound shifts inside. Your brain, that magnificent machine, rewires. Science whispers it in studies of habit formation. Action releases dopamine, the very chemical we chase in motivation. You don't need to feel good to start. Starting makes you feel good. It's a loop you control, not one that controls you. Now lean in closer, because this is where the foundation solidifies. Self-discipline isn't about becoming a robot, suppressing joy for grim duty. It's reclaiming your power from the whims of emotion. You've felt that inner tug-of-war, the voice urging rest when growth beckons. That's not weakness, it's human. The winners, though, are those who stare it down and move anyway. They understand that life's true battles aren't against the world, but against the inertia within it. Every champion, from the lone inventor toiling in a garage to the athlete shattering records, began with a choice untainted by feeling. They forced it, and in forcing, they freed themselves. Reflect on your own path for a breath. Those goals gathering dust, the promotion you deserve, the body you envision, the relationships you yearn to nurture. What's truly holding you? Not lack of time or resources, but this insidious wait for motivation's kiss. It's a thief, stealing years in quiet increments. But today, that ends. Here, in this chapter, you claim the antidote, the core truth etching itself into your soul to win at life. You act first. Motivation follows like a loyal hound, eager for the hunt you've already begun. Let this settle deep, like roots pushing through stone. You've been lied to long enough. Discipline is your birthright, not a gift from fleeting moods. Start dissecting your days. Notice when the myth creeps in, that afternoon slump, the evening scroll, name it, defy it. Force one small act right now, in the silence after my words. A deep breath, held a second longer. A stretch that aches just enough. Feel that. That's the spark you control. As we stand on this precipice, arms outstretched, ready to leap, remember Lena's studio coming alive, the eagle's unyielding dive. You've glimpsed the lie, grasped the truth, but awakening is only the dawn. What lies beyond, in the fire that tempers your will forge you unbreakable. Let that curiosity pull you forward. Onward to Chapter 2, the pain threshold, where we embrace the burn that births true strength. Chapter 2, the pain threshold, embracing the burn. Feel the heat rising around you, flames licking at your skin as you stand in the heart of a roaring forge, hammer in hand, the air thick with the scent of molten iron. Sweat beads on your brow, muscles tremble, Every instinct screams to flee, but you don't, you strike. Again and again, shaping raw chaos into something unbreakable. This is no dream, it's the crucible where legends are born. You've crossed the threshold of waiting, felt the first stir of action without motivation's crutch. Now, we plunge deeper into the searing truth that victory demands. Pain is not your enemy. It's the gateway. Welcome to the fire that will temper your soul. Let this vision seep into your bones, because what we're uncovering here is life's most guarded secret. Every towering achievement, every life reshaped from ashes, was forged in deliberate discomfort. Most people glimpse pain and recoil, treating it like a thief in the night. They numb it with distractions, scroll away the sting, whisper excuses to soothe the ache. But you're different. You're ready to lean into the burn, to understand that self-discipline thrives where comfort dies. Pain isn't punishment, it's purification. It's the sculptor's chisel carving marble into masterpieces, the river's relentless erosion carving canyons from stone. Without it, you remain soft, unshaped potential drifting aimless. Picture the ancient samurai training under a waterfall's icy torrent, body battered by thousands of pounds of freezing water cascading down. Each second tests his resolve, lungs burning, limbs numb, mind pleading for mercy. He endures not for glory in that moment, but because he knows the waterfall breaks the weak, but hones the blade. I've witnessed this in countless lives, walked beside those who chose the forge over the fire escape. Pain signals growth's frontier, the edge where your current self fractures to birth the stronger version waiting within. Ignore it, and you stagnate. Embrace it, and you evolve. Meet Tomás, a fisherman from the rugged coasts of Portugal, his hands calloused from decades, pulling nets through tempests. At 45, widowed and adrift, he stared at a body softened by grief and idleness. The world offered pills and pity, but Tomás chose the sea's fury. Dawn after dawn, he rode into gales that clawed at his boat, waves crashing like thunder, salt stinging open wounds on his palms. His back screamed, nausea rose like bile, yet he forced the oars forward, one stroke through the agony, then another, weeks blurred into transformation, muscle rebuilt over bone, will over weakness. Now at 60, he sails solo across oceans, a testament to the burn's embrace. Tomás didn't conquer pain, he invited it as a teacher. This is the emotional core pulsing through every story of triumph. Voluntary suffering rewires your spirit. When discomfort arises, in the burn of a late-night study session, the quiver of fatigued legs on a run, the raw vulnerability of honest confrontation, pause and breathe it in. Name it. This is my forge. Your body floods with endorphins, not despite the pain, but because of it, forging neural pathways of resilience. Science echoes ancient wisdom. Controlled stress builds anti-fragility, making you not just tougher, but better in ways ease can never touch. It's why warriors fast, ascetics meditate in silence, artists bleed onto pages. They caught the threshold because beyond it lies power undreamed. But let's make this personal. You and I, right here in this shared space. Recall your own brushes with the burn, the diet abandoned at the first hunger pang, the project shelved when focus frayed. Those weren't failures, they were invitations declined. Self-discipline whispers, step through, start small to build faith. Hold a plank until tears well, right through the fog of exhaustion, say the hard truth in that strained conversation. Each crossing etches certainty into your core. I can endure. I will endure. Pain loses its terror when met as ally, shrinking to a familiar companion on the path to mastery. Feel the shift already? That's the threshold cracking open. Winners don't sidestep suffering, they dance within it, timing their strikes to the rhythm of their racing hearts. They know the paradox. The more you embrace the burn, the less it burns. Your pain threshold isn't fixed. It's expandable, like bellows feeding a growing flame. Push it daily and watch limits dissolve. From Thomas's seas to your quiet battles, the lesson rings eternal. Greatness gestates in discomfort's womb. Force yourself there, and life yields its treasures. Now let this truth anchor you, heavy and real as forged steel cooling in your grip. You've glimpsed the forge, felt its heat kiss your skin. Pain embraced doesn't just build strength, it reveals the unbreakable core you've always carried. But fire alone shapes nothing without direction. What lurks in the shadows of your mind, whispering defeat when the flames rise highest? That's our next conquest. Onward to Chapter 3, The Invisible Enemy, where we unmask and master the saboteur within. Chapter 3, The Invisible Enemy, Mastering Your Inner Saboteur. In the dim flicker of a single candle's flame, you sit alone in a vast, echoing chamber, shadows twisting like living serpents along the walls, whispering secrets only you can hear. A chill crawls up your spine, not from the cold, but from the realization that something stirs in the darkness, eyes gleaming with cunning malice, waiting for your guard to drop. It's been with you always, this unseen stalker, coiling tighter with every doubt you entertain. You've braved the forge's fire, felt pain's purifying kiss. Now face the true predator within your inner saboteur, the sly architect of self-betrayal. This chapter arms you to hunt it down, expose its lies, and claim dominion over the mind that once betrayed you. Breathe that image in, let it sharpen your senses, because this enemy isn't out there in the world, it's woven into the fabric of your thoughts. A master of disguise parading as reason, comfort, protector, it slithers forward in quiet moments. One more episode won't hurt, it murmurs during your evening resolve. You're too tired today, save it for tomorrow. It coos when dawn breaks, and action beckons. This isn't mere laziness, it's a sophisticated saboteur, evolved over years of unchallenged reign, feeding on your unclaimed potential. It knows your weaknesses intimately, strikes with surgical precision, turning your greatest strengths into chains. Recognizing it is the first victory, for in naming the shadow you steal its power. Envision an ancient fortress under siege, not by armies with battering rams, but by whispers seeping through cracks in the stone. Doubt, delay, denial. The guards inside, lulled by the subtlety, lower their weapons one by one until the walls crumble from within. That's your mind under sabotage. This voice isn't random noise, it's a survival relic from caveman days, wired to conserve energy, avoid risk. In modern life, it misfires catastrophically, mistaking growth for threat. But here's the awakening. It's not invincible. It's a bully thriving on silence. Confront it, and it shrinks. Let me share the story of Kira, a young architect in the bustling heart of Tokyo. Her sketches brilliant but forever unfinished. Night after night, she'd huddle over blueprints, only for the saboteur to intervene. It's late. Perfection can wait. Projects stalled. Promotions slipped away. Resentment festered like an open wound. One evening, staring at her reflection in a rain-streaked window, she rebelled. She gave it form, a smirking gremlin she dubbed Shadow Kira, complete with a journal to log its assaults. Morning whisper, skip the gym. Counter, Shadow Kira, lies. I lace up now. Evening ploy, scroll instead. Riposte, not tonight we build. Within a month, her portfolio swelled. A promotion landed. Kira didn't silence the voice. She outmaneuvered it, turning whispers into war cries. Her fortress stands unbreached. This tactic personification unlocks profound clarity. Make your saboteur tangible, a sly fox, a whining child, a pompous advisor. Sketch it, speak to it aloud if you must. Track its patterns like a hunter charting prey. Does it pounce at 3 p.m. when energy dips? Ambush you post-meal with lethargy? Awareness disarms. Then craft countermeasures rooted in truth. Its lie, rest now, act later. Your truth, momentum dies in delay. Act fuels energy. Speak it with conviction, as if commanding a subordinate. Over time, the neural battle shifts. Old pathways weaken, new ones blaze with authority. Feel the intimacy of this truth pressing close. It's personal, piercing. We've all hosted this parasite, letting it feast on half-started ventures, unspoken apologies, unlived dreams. But mastery dawns in refusal. Self-discipline here becomes psychological warfare. Observe without judgment, then override with deliberate choice. Science illuminates the path. Mindfulness studies show labeling distractions reduces their grip by 40, freeing cognitive bandwidth for purpose. Pair it with preemptive strikes. Visualize the sabotage before it strikes. Rehearse your defiance. Your brain, plastic and responsive, learns you're the general, not the captive. Lean into this reflection now. Let it stir the embers within. That promotion you covet, the novel burning in your chest, the bonds frayed by neglect. What sabotage has stalled them? No more. Today, you declare war. Start with a single confrontation. Next urge to detour. Pause. Name it. There's whisperer again. Then pivot to power. Feel the surge, that sovereignty reclaiming ground. The saboteur thrives in vagueness. Your precision starves it. With each mastery, confidence compounds, a virtuous spiral where doubt yields to unshakable trust in your command. This chapter's gift lingers like the fading echo of a routed foe. Victory tastes sweetest when hard won from within. You've unmasked the shadow, gripped its throat, but even vanquished enemies leave remnants, tricks absorbed into habit. How do you forge those fleeting triumphs into an unbreakable fortress of daily wins? Onward to Chapter 4, The Power of Micro-Wins, where tiny bricks build empires that time itself can't topple. Chapter 4. The Power of Micro-Wins, building momentum brick by brick. Picture a lone mason at the base of a towering cathedral, dawn's first light gilding the stones in his calloused hands, each no larger than a fist. The spire above pierces endless sky, a monument to human defiance against gravity's pull. He doesn't gaze upward in awe or despair. He places one brick, then another, mortar binding them in quiet defiance. Years will pass, storms rage, but this foundation endures. You've slain shadows within, danced in pain's forge. Now witness the alchemy of the infinitesimal, micro-wins, those humble bricks that erect empires from dust. This is where dreams solidify, where force becomes fate. Let this image root deep, for it unveils a profound law of transformation, overlooked by the impatient. Grand visions, ripped physiques, overflowing bank accounts, legacies etched in time, intimidate because we assault them with sledgehammers of ambition. We declare war on the mountain, only to collapse exhausted at its foot. But the masters, those quiet architects of destiny, wield precision. They dismantle the impossible into the inevitable, one micro-win at a time. A single push-up when fitness feels foreign, one sentence when the book looms like a boulder. These aren't trivial, they're seismic shifts, igniting the brain's reward circuits, flooding you with proof of possibility. Momentum awakens, a gentle tide swelling to tsunami. Envision the bamboo grove in ancient China, slender stalks piercing barren soil, For 4 years they push invisible roots, unseen, uncelebrated. Then, in a single season, they rocket skyward, up to 90 feet. Roots with a micro wins. Patient penetration, nutrient grafts, silent strengthening, surface growth dazzles, but subterranean labor wins. Your life mirrors this. Overwhelm breeds paralysis. Micro wins breed propulsion. Neuroscience confirms it. Small victories spike dopamine precisely because they're achievable, creating a feedback loop where success begets success. Force one now, and the chain reaction begins, pulling you inexorably forward. Meet Elias, a debt-ridden mechanic in the Rust Belt heartland, his garage echoing with regrets at 38. Bills towered like prison bars. Escape seemed a fairy tale. Save 1,000 this month, he tried once, only to falter under the weight. Then, epiphany. $1 a day. No fanfare, no app alerts. Just a jar by the workbench, a single bill slipped in amid oil changes and tire rotations. Day after day, the clink became ritual. Curiosity grew. $2, then $5. A year on, the jar overflowed. $1,800 seeded into a small investment that snowballed. 5 years later, he owns 3 shops. Vacations with his kids on beaches he once only saw in magazines. Elias didn't conquer finance overnight. His micro-wins conquered it for him, brick by unassuming brick. This power lies in its subtlety, its demand for faith over flash. Micro-wins bypass the saboteur's traps. No room for too big excuses when the task fits in a breath. They cultivate what psychologists call efficacy, that deep knowing, I make things happen. Start dissecting your ambitions. Fitness, 2 squats upon waking. Writing, 1 paragraph for coffee. Learning, 5 minutes of deliberate study. Execute without judgment. Track them visually. A chain of X's on a calendar, unbroken links gleaming like gold. Miss one, restart, no self-lash. The streak's magic is psychological armor. Breaking it feels unnatural, propelling you back. Feel this stirring in your chest. A quiet revolution brewing. Those aspirations whispering in quiet hours. The career leap, the healed relationships, the creative fire long banked. What if you approach them not as leviathans, but as mosaics of moments? Today, claim your first brick. Right here, after my voice fades, stand and do one. Clench a fist until it trembles. Hold a deep breath, counting to 20. Whisper your boldest goal aloud. Sense it, the subtle click of momentum engaging gears long rusted. Micro-wins aren't steps. They're sparks in dry tinder, birthing infernos of progress. As masons layer stone upon stone, cathedrals rise not by miracle, but method. Each micro-win a testament to persistence's poetry. You've harnessed this force, felt its gentle insistence build to roar. Empires emerge not from Herculean heaves, but humble habits compounded. Yet bricks alone make no fortress. They demand a structure to hold them firm. How do you temper this momentum into enduring strength? Onward to Chapter 5. The discipline muscle. Where we train, we're like iron, forging resilience that time itself reveres. Chapter 5. The discipline muscle. Train it like iron. Hear the rhythmic clang of hammer on anvil, echoing through a dimly lit smithy, sparks flying like defiant stars as raw iron glows red-hot, yielding under relentless blows. Your arms ache, sweat stings your eyes, but with each strike, the metal transforms, brittle edge sharpening into a blade that cleaves stone. This isn't mere labor, it's rebirth through repetition. You've stacked your micro-wins, felt momentum's hum. Now, enter the gym of the soul, discipline as muscle, atrophied in idleness, sculpted through stress and recovery into a force that bends reality. Grip the hammer. Your forging begins. Let this symphony of steel sink into you, revealing a truth as old as human striving. Discipline isn't a static trait, gifted to the lucky few. It's a living organ, responsive to training like biceps under barbells. Neglect it, and it wastes away, leaving you soft against life's weights. Exercise it wisely, and it hypertrophies, fibers thickening into cables of unyielding power. This chapter lays bare the physiology of will, progressive overload, deliberate recovery, measured growth. No mysticism here, just the elegant mechanics of becoming unbreakable, a blueprint to turn fleeting resolve into lifelong dominion. Imagine the wild stallion captured from untamed plains, muscles wild but untrained, bucking against any saddle. Force it into pens of routine, gallops measured, loads added gradually, and it evolves into a warhorse carrying kings into battle. Your discipline mirrors this. Start with featherweight reps, 5 minutes of unbroken focus on a task that tempts distraction. Feel the burn. That's adaptation calling. Next session, lay around, 10 minutes, eyes locked, mind tethered. Rest follows. Not escape, but recharge. Sleep deep, nourish true, reflect on conquests. Cycle repeats, capacity swells. Neuroscience maps it clearly. Consistent challenge rewires prefrontal cortex, birthplace of executive control, shrinking impulsivity's grip. I walked this path with Marcus, a software coder in Seattle's relentless rain. His code elegant but deadlines forever missed, promotions evaporating like mist. At 29, buried in regret, he reframed discipline as gym time for his will. Baseline 20-minute coding sprints, no tabs open, phone silenced. Timer buzzed triumph. He logged it, a quiet trophy. Week 2, 25 minutes, complexity upped, fatigue whispered retreat. He pushed through, then journaled the victory. Plateaus hit, muscle memory faltered. He deloaded to 15, rebuilt fiercer. 6 months in, project shipped ahead. A senior role landed. Marcus didn't wish for strength. He trained it, rep by rep, until coding marathons felt like breath. This training demands intimacy with your limits, a lover's touch to pain's edge. Track like a coach charting lifts, journal reps, perceived effort, breakthroughs. Scale progressively, time, intensity, duration, always hovering at challenge's brink, where growth germinates. Recovery is sacred. Active rest walks nature's paths. Meditation clears mental slag. Nutrition fuels the forge. Miss a session, no drama. Life's storms rage, but recommit without residue, turning lapse into launchpad. The muscle principle scales across realms. Language acquisition via daily phrases. Sales calls stacked incrementally. Relationships deepen through consistent outreach. Everywhere, training trumps talent. Pause here. Feel the weight in your hands. This isn't abstract philosophy. It's your physiology awakening. That skill set rusting, habit crumbling, vision blurring. What if you approach them as sets in the gym? Today, assess your discipline's baseline. Pick a domain. Time your first rep right after this chapter's echo fades. 5 minutes pure. Note the tremble, the win. Tomorrow, add friction. Watch the muscle respond, confidence blooming like blood to starved tissue. This is empowerment's essence. You sculpt your capacity. No permission needed. Elite performers embody this. Marathoners, logging base miles before speedwork dreams. Virtuosos scales before symphonies. Entrepreneurs, cold outreach before boardrooms. They periodize, build phases, yield to peak, then taper for renewal. Adopt their wisdom. Quarterly audit what's hypertrophied, what's lagged. Adjust loads. Your discipline muscle doesn't capsize under care. It compounds, carrying heavier loads with grace. From Marcus's code streams to your unspoken ambitions, training transmutes potential into prowess. As the anvil cools, your blade gleams, tested and true. This chapter imprints its legacy, strength earned, drop by drop, strike by strike. You've gripped the mechanics, felt the first rip's promise. Muscles built to demand a worthy arena. How do you craft surroundings that amplify every flex, turning environment into silent coach? Onward to Chapter 6, designing your battlefield, where your world becomes the ally that enforces unbreakable will. Chapter 6, designing your battlefield, environment as your ally. Step into a war room carved from ancient oak, maps unfurled across a scarred table, every candle strategically placed to banish shadow, weapons polished and within reach, the air humming with purpose. No chaos here, no scattered scrolls, no flickering doubts, only order engineered for conquest. A general doesn't win by willpower alone. He shapes the terrain to make victory inevitable. You forged your discipline muscle, bricks stacking into towers. Now claim the field itself. Your environment, once neutral ground, now a living ally that enforces triumph or whispers defeat. Redesign it. Your battlefield awaits transformation. Let this vision flood your senses, for it unveils a pivotal truth in the architecture of achievement. External forces sculpt internal fire far more than we admit. Willpower depletes like a battery under constant drain. Environment recharges it, turning friction into flow. Cluttered desks breed scattered minds. Temptation-laced kitchens sabotage resolve. Notification storms fracture focus. But flip the script, curate cues that propel, eliminate drags that derail, and discipline becomes autopilot. This isn't superficial tweaking, it's strategic sovereignty, where your surroundings evolve into silent sentinels, guarding gains while amplifying every impulse toward greatness. Picture the monk's cell in a mist-shrouded mountain temple. Bare walls echoing chants, single cushion for meditation, window framing dawn's call to awaken. No distractions compete. The space demands presence. Contrast the urban dweller's lair. Screens glowing like sirens, snacks within arm's reach, papers avalanching into paralysis. Your life is this cell or this chaos. Science affirms it. Behavioral design leverages choice architecture, nudging 80% of decisions subconsciously. Force alignment now, audit ruthlessly. What pulls you astray? Banish it. What beckons victory? Elevate it. Your world, reshaped, becomes the wind at your back. I saw this alchemy in Nora, a freelance writer in Chicago's biting winters. Her apartment a graveyard of half-finished manuscripts amid snack wrappers and buzzing alerts. Deadlines bled into despair, words frozen despite burning talent. One grey morning, rebellion ignited. She cleared the desk to sacred minimalism, laptop centered, single notebook, water carafe, no more. Phone exiled to another room. Apps deleted, browser locked to writing tools only. Fridge purged of midnight saboteurs, stocked with brain-fueling greens. Even lighting shifted, warm desk lamp for flow states. Harsh overhead for cleanup cues. First session, 50 words tumbled free. Habit took root. Output exploded. Contracts poured in. Her name now graces bestseller lists. Nora didn't summon more will. She summoned an environment that willed for her. This redesign demands deliberate craft, intimate as a lover's touch. Begin with friction mapping. Trace your day. Note stumble points. Morning haze. Prep clothes and coffee ritual night prior. Shoes by the door screaming move. Afternoon slump, standing desk, energizing playlist cued. Stretch timer ticking. Evening creep, reading nook primed with wisdom tomes, screens dimmed by 8 p.m. Digital Battlefield 2. App blockers enforce deep work blocks. Notifications routed to Do Not Disturb fortresses. Physical cues amplify post-its, proclaiming truths. Vision boards igniting hunger. Make victory the path of least resistance. Defeat requires Herculean effort. Feel the empowerment rising, tangible as rearranged furniture sliding into place. That stalled project, neglected health, fraying connections, scan your surroundings. Do they conspire for success or complacency? Right now, post this narration's hush. Act, relocate one temptation, install one cue, watch the shift effort evaporates. Flow surges, environment whispers commands 1,000 times daily. Tune them to your anthem. This is leverage's essence. Amplify strength, starve weaknesses, until discipline hums, unconsciously, a symphony conducted by space itself. Masters across eras wielded this. Da Vinci's tidy studio birthing polymath wonders, Spartan barracks forging unbreakable legions through austerity. Your modern domain yields equal potency. Iterate seasonally, test setups, measure outputs, refine. A plant thriving in sunlight mirrors you in aligned environs, vital, expansive. Nora's study, once tomb, now temple, yours beckons the same resurrection. As your battlefield aligns, flags snapping in victory's breeze, this chapter seals its pact. Surroundings a sacred extension of self, coercing excellence. You've engineered the arena. Now guard its gates with ferocity. For unchecked incursions, erode empires built. Onward to Chapter 7, The Art of No, where you wield refusal as sword, protecting the fortress of your forged power. Chapter 7, The Art of No, guarding your energy fortress. Visualize a majestic fortress perched on a storm-lashed cliff, thunder rumbling as waves crash below, its massive gates sealed by iron portcullis glinting under lightning's flash. Raiders circle endlessly, ships laden with distractions, ladders of obligation scaling the walls, yet not one breaches the battlements, for the drawbridge stays firmly raised. Inside, hearths blaze warm, warriors sharpen blades in peace, resources flowing freely to the heart of the keep. You've sculpted your battlefield, cues aligned for conquest. Now, master the gatekeeper's art, the sacred no, your blade against the siege of yes. This refusal isn't loss. It's liberation fortifying the energy that fuels your rise. Let this scene etch into your spirit, illuminating a ruthless truth amid abundance's illusion. Every yes extracts a toll from your finite reserves. Time, focus, vitality. Like blood drawn from veins, we chase validation through overload, mistaking busyness for worth, until flames flicker low and dreams starve in the cold. Self-discipline's pinnacle isn't addition, but subtraction. Curating commitments with a sovereign's discernment. No becomes holy ground, reclaiming hours once squandered, channeling life force to what echoes your essence. It's not cruelty, it's clarity, the guardian that elevates pursuits, while starving mediocrity. Envision the eagle wheeling high above prey-rich valleys, eyes locked on one fish, flashing silver in the stream. Flocks of lesser birds dart everywhere, but it dives true, precision over plunder. Your energy mirrors this, scattered yeses, dilute, strike power, yielding half measures. Studies in decision fatigue reveal willpower erodes like sandcastles under tide. Each concession weakens, resolve for the battles that matter. Forge your criteria instead. Does this ignite purpose? Amplify strength? Align with legacy? No resonance? The portcullis drops. Practice the phrase like a mantra. No, thank you. My path calls elsewhere. Feel the freedom ripple, chains dissolving. Witness Javier, a budding musician in Mexico City's vibrant sprawl, his guitar singing soul-deep melodies amid street chaos. Friends beckoned nightly to fiestas, colleagues pitched side hustles, family tugged with endless favors, yes, piled upon yes, until strings went silent, inspiration buried under exhaustion. At 27, on a rooftop under starlit skies, he drew the line. No mass, he vowed, scripting responses, polite deflections laced with gratitude. Party invite? Grateful, but my music demands nights. Extra gig? Appreciate it, focusing my craft. Demands faded, mornings bloomed for composition, albums followed, stages called from afar. Javier's fortress rose not by building higher, but closing gates wisely. His art thrived in the reclaimed silence. This art blooms through ritualized resolve, intimate as breath control. Map your energy ledger. Log a week's yeses, tally drains versus dividends. Invites arrive. Pause 3 heartbeats, inhale purpose, exhale noise, rehearse boundaries. That sounds valuable for you, my bandwidth serves my vision. Loved ones test fiercest, frame no as gift. I cherish us too much for divided presence. Let's align on what fills both. Digital deluge, email filters, call screeners, social purges, each no compounds capital, a snowball of sovereignty swelling to avalanche force. Science nods, boundary setters report 30% higher fulfillment, creativity unbound by clutter's cage. Sense this power coiling now, visceral as tightened grip on your sword hilt. Those aspirations simmering, the masterpiece, the venture, the vitality. What invasions erode them? Today, erect your first barrier. Next request whispers, wield no without apology. Taste the expansion, energy redirecting, like river carved anew. Refusal isn't rejection of others, it's embrace of self, the sovereign act that magnetizes true opportunities. Your fortress guarded, glows beacon bright, drawing allies worthy of the climb. Legends etched this wisdom. Monks renouncing empires for enlightenment's cave, inventors shunning society for garage revelations. Your era demands equal valor amid infinite pulls. Quarterly breach audit gates too porous. Reinforce. Javier's strings resonate eternally. Yours await the same symphony in solitude claimed. With gates secure, hearths roaring within your unbreached keep, this chapter crowns its teaching. Know as noble armor, yes, reserved for eternity's echoes. You've learned to guard. Now ignite the dawn with rituals that launch legions. Onward to Chapter 8. Rituals of the Elite, where mornings birth dominion over days untold. Chapter 8. Rituals of the Elite. Dawn of the Disciplined. As the first blush of dawn creeps over jagged mountain peaks, a lone figure rises in shadowed silence, bare feet meeting cold stone floor, breath syncing with the rhythm of awakening world. No alarm jars, habit pulls him vertical, hands reaching for clay pitcher of cool water cascading down throat like liquid resolve. Candles flicker to life. Journal opens under golden light, pen scratching visions into reality while embers of night still glow. This isn't routine, it's resurrection. The elite's sacred ignition sequence, launching empires before the sun claims sky. You've guarded your fortress with iron nose. Now step into dawn's alchemy, rituals that wire your soul for dominion, turning ordinary mornings into thrones of command. Let this ritual breathe life into you, unveiling the profound architecture of elite mornings, not frantic scrambles, but deliberate symphonies conducting the day's symphony. While masses surrender to snooze-button tyranny, surrendering hours to fogged reaction. The disciplined orchestrate awakening as conquests prelude. These aren't whims, they're neural anchors, embedding intention before chaos encroaches, flooding brain with cortisol's clarity, serotonin's calm, priming you for peak execution. Science maps the magic. Consistent dawn rites strengthen circadian mastery, boosting cognitive horsepower 25% over sleep-in slaves. Your morning isn't gift, it's governance, claiming narrative before world scripts it for you. Envision the ancient pharaohs stirring in pyramid shadow, ablutions first to honor body temple, then scrolls unfurling wisdom's harvest, stratagems plotted before Nile stirred, modern titans echo, sequence sacraments of hydration awakening cells, movement flushing stagnation, reflection aligning spirit. Craft yours lean potent, rise fixed hour, darkness be damned. Gulp, 16 ounces water laced with lemon spark, 5 minutes dynamic flow, arm circles, squats, spine twists, igniting metabolic furnace. Journal 3 gratitudes anchoring abundance. 1 fierce intention, today I conquer X. 90-minute deep work fortress follows, untouched by email's siege. No phone till triumph seals. I stood witness to Leo's dawn rebirth. A Vancouver architect adrift at 34. Blueprints brilliant yet bids lost to lethargy. Sun climbing high before desk touched. Nights bled into fog dawns, potential eroding like coastal cliffs. One solstice eve, vow sealed, 5 a.m. resurrection. Pitcher primed bedside, yoga mat rolled, journal sanctified. First week, limbs rebelled, eyelids warred yet ritual held. Unyielding, hydration shocked system alive. Poses built prana flow. Pages captured visions morphing haze to clarity. Mornings chained. By noon, designs dazzled. Clients clamored. Firm tripled. Leo scaled peaks, crediting not talent, but dawn's unbreachable right. His empire rose on ritual's wings. You claim yours now. This sequence demands devotion, intimate as prayer. Personalize without dilution. Test timings, feel bodies vote. Hydration universal, dehydration dulls 20% cognition, preempt it. Movement mandatory. Endorphins cascade, slashing anxiety's grip. Reflection, non-negotiable. Neuroscience proves gratitude, rewires amygdala from fear to fortitude. Intention laser sharp, specific, vivid, visceral. Execute pre-sunup, when willpower peaks purest. Track fidelity, calendar chains unbroken, each dawn a link forged hotter. Resistance peaks week 3. Muscle through adaptation crowns you. Evening wind down mirrors, dim lights cueing melatonin. No screens post 9, sleep's temple prepared. Feel the dawn calling now, visceral pull in your solar plexus. Ancient rhythm syncing with pulse. That mountain of tasks, relationships adrift. Legacy latent. What if mornings birthed their mastery? Tonight, prep your right, pitcher filled. Mat unrolled, intention whispered. Tomorrow, rise, sovereign. Sense the shift, world yields to those who claim first light. Reactions, yielding to creation. Rituals aren't chains, they're wings. Elite's invisible jet fuel propelling stratospheric trajectories. Across epochs, pharaohs to CEOs, ritualized risings. Napoleon's cold plunge, shocking senses sharp, Buffett's reading feasts, seeding empires. Your lineage beckons equal sovereignty. Evolve quarterly, infuse variety, measure yields. Leo's horizons expanded eternally. Yours unfurl in dawn's embrace. With sun cresting, your inner throne established. This chapter imprints its dawn fire. Mornings as mastery's forge, igniting days destined for dominion. You've ritualized ignition, now face the inevitable tempests that test every flame. Onward to Chapter 9, Failure's Forge, where setbacks transmute to steel sharper than before. Chapter 9, Failure's Forge, turning setbacks into steel. Thunder cracks the night sky as a massive oak splinters under lightning's savage kiss. Roots torn free, trunk crashing earthward in a roar of splintered might, yet deep within the wreckage, embers glow faintly, waiting for breath to fan them into rebirth. You stand amid the debris, heart pounding, not in ruin's despair, but awe at nature's cycle, destruction as precursor to renewal. Dawn rituals lit your path, fortresses guarded fierce. Now plunge into failure's heart, the forge where tempests strike hardest, shattering illusions to reveal tempered core. This isn't defeat's dirge, it's resurrection's anthem, teaching you to wield setbacks as hammers shaping unbreakable self. Let this storm vision root in your marrow, for it unveils failure's sacred paradox. Not end, but essential alchemy in discipline's grand design. We flee it like plague, labeling stumbles as personal indictments, quitting when knees buckle under first fall. Yet victors revere it, raw ore demanding heat and strike to yield blade. Self-discipline shines brightest here, forcing autopsy on wreckage, extracting lessons like gold from ash, rising not despite scars but through them. Emotional truth pierces. Failure exposes blind spots, humbles ego, accelerates wisdom no smooth sail grants. Embrace it consciously, and evolution accelerates. Resist, and you circle eternally in mediocrity's shallows. Picture the silversmith facing flawed pour, metal cooling into warped vessel, discard or reclaim. He melts it down, skims impurities, pours purer. Your setbacks mirror, ventures flop, relationships fracture, bodies betray training. Each a flawed alloy signaling refinement. Ritualize the forge, immediate halt post-fall. No blame spiral. Notebook out. What precisely broke? Sequence of choices. External wildcards, pivot matrix, one fixable route, e.g. prep underestimated. 2 experiments, test A, track B, science illuminates. Post-mortem reflection boosts future success, 30%, turning neural pain into pattern mastery. Force this right, grief transmutes to gratitude. I journeyed this forge with Sophia, a restaurateur in Buenos Aires' pulsing streets, a dream bistro launching amid pandemic shadows, crowds promised, but lockdowns crushed, tables empty, debts mounting, suppliers fleeing. 36, tears staining ledgers. She could have shuttered. Instead, forge ignited. Dawn after collapse. Ledger autopsy. Breaks, over-reliance walk-ins. No digital pivot, menu rigid, experiments brewed, ghost kitchen trials, Instagram feasts, teasing aromas through screens, tasting kits mailed home. First pivot flopped, packaging leaked, second refined, sealed wonders sold out. By Thor, hybrid empire thrived, dine-in plus delivery dynasty. Sophia's scars gleam now in full houses. Failure didn't bury her, it excavated genius. This transmutation demands visceral courage, raw as open wound. Feel shame's sting? Welcome it, signal of attachment to outcome over process. Reframe, data acquired, iteration launches. Share selectively trusted circle for blind spot mirrors, not pity parades. Celebrate the right itself, post-analysis ritual, like clinking salvaged metal, affirming forged sharper. Scale it daily. Micro failures in reps skipped, words stumbled quick dissect, immediate adjust. Discipline's muscle hypertrophies here fiercest. Repeated forging builds anti-fragile psyche, thriving on volatility where others shatter. Lean into this mirror now, breath steadying as truth lands heavy. That venture shelved, apology unsaid, fitness plateau. What failures litter your path? No more graves, exhume them. Tonight, select one corpse. Dissect, 5 minutes. Script 3 pivots. Feel alchemy stir, despair yielding to direction, power, reclaiming ground. Failure isn't foe. Its fiercest mentor, invisible hand accelerating ascent. Those who force the forge emerge not merely resilient, but radiant, scars mapping paths. Untrodden, across human saga, phoenixes rise thus. Wright brothers' 100 crashes birthing flight. Rolling's dozen rejections, seeding wizard worlds. Your story joins failures as forge fires, each strike etching mastery deeper. Sophia's tables brim eternal, yours await resurrection's feast. As embers blaze to bonfire within your renewed frame, this chapter etches its steel oath. Setbacks as sacred smithing, wielding loss into legacy's edge. You've mastered the forge, yet solo flames flicker. True infernos demand shared breath. Onward to Chapter 10, the Brotherhood of Discipline, where iron bonds grip tighter than solitary steel. Chapter 10, the Brotherhood of Discipline. Accountability's iron grip. In the heart of a fog-shrouded ancient forest, a circle of warriors gathers around a roaring bonfire, flames casting fierce shadows on scarred faces, each man clasping forearm to forearm in unbreakable pact, voices rising in oaths that echo through timeless trees. No one stands alone, their grips interlock like roots of mighty oaks, sharing burdens, calling out falters, amplifying triumphs under starlit canopy. Solitude breeds vulnerability. Brotherhood forges invincibility. You've risen from failure's forge, steel gleaming. Now, forge the final weapon, accountability's grip, where solitary flames unite into inferno, propelling you beyond solo limits into collective conquest. Let this primal scene pulse through your veins, revealing a raw truth etched in human history. Discipline thrives in isolation's death throes, explodes in shared fire. Lone wolves starve or fall, packs hunt or me. Self-imposed will phrase under temptation's siege. Progress reports whispered to mirrors, lose bite, enter brotherhood, external eyes, witnessing vows, stakes, sharpening edges, mirroring blind spots, no mirror catches. This isn't crutch, it's catalyst, neuroscience-proven multiplier, where social commitment boosts adherence, 65%, dopamine surging, not from task, but tribes nod. Your ascent demands allies, not cheerleaders, but iron brothers gripping tight when hands weaken. Envision Viking longships, slicing fjords, oars synchronized by chieftain's cadence, each rower locked eyes with brother across. Shame of slack impossible under collective gaze. Slack one, sink all. Modern parallels pulse. Masterminds circling virtual fires, apps pinging daily tallies, coaches dissecting strides, seek equals, not superiors lauding, inferiors dragging, peers hungry for mutual sharpening. Platforms abound, disciplined forums, fitness crews, entrepreneur circles. Initial right, declare one goal publicly. I run 5K weekly, report Sundays, feel stakes crystallize, escape routes, ceiling. I forged this bond with Ramon, a Sydney welder at 42, body softened by factory monotony, dreams of triathlon glory buried under beer cans and skipped shifts. Solo vows crumbled weekly, mirrors lied convincingly. Desperation birthed search, online group of midlife athletes, roar as he, first call, 40 pounds down, 5K base check me Sundays. Grips virtual, but vice tight. Week 3, rain lashed, bed beckoned. Group pinged, Ramon, out there. Shame ignited, sneakers laced, miles logged. Plateaus hit, they dissected form. Swapped drills, year-end. Iron Man finish, tears mixing sweat. Brothers' voices roaring finish line via stream. Ramon's solo steel melted. Brotherhood recast him legend. This grip weaves through intimate mechanics, potent as blood oath. Weekly sinks, 30 minutes, no fluff. Wins, celebrated raw. Slips, autopsied, without judgment. Next actions vowed aloud. Stakes escalate. Fines to charity for misses. Wins funding group feasts. Digital enforcers amplify apps, like stick K binding bets. Shared streaks glowing like tribal tattoos. Vet fiercely, mutual hunger mandatory, gossip exiled, vulnerability honored. Emotional alchemy unfolds. Vulnerability births trust. Trust fuels candor. Candor carves growth. Solo, 10% adherence. Gripped, 95%. Your circle becomes mirror spur, safety net woven tight. Feel the circle closing now, warmth of shared fire on your skin. Ancient pull toward tribe stirring deep. That marathon dream, business launch, relational rebuild. What solo stalls them? Reach out today. Message one peer, know one crew. Declare one vow. Sense the shift. Accountability's grip lightens load while lifting higher. Isolation's chill yielding to communal blaze. Brotherhood isn't dependency, it's exponential force, where one flame ignites legions, triumphs multiplying in echoed roars. Timeless sagas affirm. Samurai dojos honed blades through paired sparring. Monastic orders vowed mutual confession. Apollo missions fused ground crews in mission grip. Ramon's finish line echoes eternally. Yours pulses in the forging. With grips interlocked, bonfire roaring skyward, this chapter binds its eternal pact. Accountability as brotherhood's blaze, solo embers to conflagration. You've harnessed the tribe, yet eternal flames demand tending against entropy's creep. Onward to Chapter 11, sustaining the flame, where long-haul mastery defies time's fade. Chapter 11, sustaining the flame, long-haul mastery. Gaze upon an ancient lighthouse perched defiant on storm-battered cliffs, its massive flame roaring through endless nights, fueled not by fleeting bursts, but ceaseless tending keepers climbing spiral stairs in gale-force winds. Trimming wicks, pouring oil drop by sacred drop, shielding the blaze from salt spray and howling gales. One lapse, and darkness claims the sea. Eternal vigilance births salvation for countless souls. You've gripped brotherhood's iron flames united fierce. Now, master the long vigil. Sustaining discipline's fire through decades, not days, cycling intensity. Guarding against burnout's thief, weaving endurance into your essence. This is marathon sovereignty, where sparks become beacons enduring time's relentless tide. Let this sentinel's vigil seep into your core, illuminating the sobering truth of sustained mastery. Initial infernos dazzle but devour unchecked, leaving ash where empires should stand. Sprinters blaze trails, then collapse. Marathoners pace rhythms with seasons, yielding harvests across lifetimes. Self-discipline's endurance phase demands wisdom over force, periods of peak grind, alternating with renewal's breath, lest friction births fracture. Emotional depth reveals burnout isn't failure of will, but ignorance of rhythm. Cortisol's poison, eroding neural highways until motivation's ghost haunts empty halls. Long-haul demands stewardship, turning discipline from sprint to symphony spanning eras. Envision the redwood grove whispering secrets of millennia, trunks thicker than houses thrusting skyward, not through non-stop growth, but seasonal pulses, spring surges yielding to winter dormancy, roots delving deeper in quiet, bark thickening against tempests. Your flame mirrors, design cycles quarterly. 8 weeks build ramp reps, deepen dives. 1 week deload, half loads, full recovery. Reflection anchoring wisdom. Metrics guide, not moods. Track energy ledgers, output yields, joy quotients. When shadows lengthen, irritability spikes, creativity stalls. Honor the signal, taper loads. Infuse play, sleep 12-hour sanctuaries. Science affirms, strategic rest boosts. VO2 max 15%. Creativity surges post-recharge, compounding gains exponentially. I witnessed this mastery in Aisha, a Nairobi social entrepreneur at 52, her micro-loan network lifting villages from poverty's grip. Yet years of non-stop crusade edged her toward collapse. Sleepless audits, endless meetings, vision blurring to exhaustion. Empire teetered. She paused at Savannah's edge, dawn breaking golden. Cycle born, 90-day sprints capped by 7-day Sabah hikes. In rift valleys, family feasts under acacia shade, journals harvesting harvests. Deloads birthed breakthroughs, fresh funding models sketched in hammock sway. Network scaled tenfold. Aisha stands unbowed at 60, flame steady, crediting not grind alone but tides honoring body's ancient wisdom. Her beacon guides generations, yours ignites now. This stewardship blooms through layered safeguards, intimate as heartbeat monitoring. Quarterly summits, audit, flame health. What fueled, what starved? Pivot boldly, rituals refreshed, brotherhood check-ins deepened, environments tuned seasonal, anti-burnout arsenal. Nature immersion slashing stress. 40%. Creative side quests reigniting joy. Mentorship swaps, trading wisdom for perspective. Celebrate longevity markers, not weekly wins, but half-year horizons, decade visions, etched vivid. Miss rhythm, gentle course correct. No lash, just realign. Emotional resilience. Hypertrophies here. Viewing lulls as soil for roots, not rot. Long-haul whispers, sustainability trumps spectacle, quiet compounding crowns kings. Feel the rhythm pulsing now, steady drum in your chest, sinking with lighthouse keepers climb. Ancient assurance that flames thrive tended wise. That legacy looming, health eternal, impact rippling. What unchecked sprints erode. Blueprint your first cycle tonight. Map 90 days, carve renewal oases. Sense eternity opening, discipline not as cage, but compass, navigating life's vast seas. Sustaining isn't settling, it's soaring sustained. Winds of renewal lifting higher than frenzy's false peaks. Ethics echo this. Tibetan lamas, cycling meditation marathons with festival dances. Polynesian navigators, resting ports between ocean crossings. Aisha's villages flourish, timeless. Yours unfold in rhythmic grace. As your lighthouse beam pierces endless night, this chapter imprints its eternal rhythm. Flames, sustained through wise waves, birthing legacies defying decay. You've mastered endurance. Now crown the throne with mindset's ultimate sovereignty. Onward to Chapter 12, The Victor's Mindset, where you claim dominion, absolute. Chapter 12, The Victor's Mindset. Owning your throne. Ascend the gilded steps of a colossal throne room, sunlight streaming through vaulted arches, onto a seat carved from obsidian and gold, overlooking realms conquered by will alone. Empires of achievement sprawling below, banners snapping in triumph's wind. You stride forward, cloak billowing, not as supplicant but sovereign, hand gripping armrest, forged from your own scars, gaze commanding horizons once deemed impossible. The crown awaits, not bestowed, but seized through every lesson etched in your journey. You've sustained the eternal flame, brotherhood, gripping tight. Now claim the final crown, the victor's mindset, where discipline transcends tool to become throne, your unassailable identity as conqueror of life itself. Let this coronation vision flood your being, crowning the profound culmination of our odyssey. Mindset as the sovereign lens, refracting every trial into territory, every obstacle into opportunity. You've amassed arsenal micro-wins, stacking pain embraced, saboteurs slain, environments allied, no's wielded, rituals dawn-lit, failures forged, brothers bound, flames sustained. Yet without victor's gaze, they rust relics. This mindset isn't optimism's fluff. It's ontological shift. You are the force, not its victim. Discipline embeds as essence. I choose hard because I thrive in forge. Emotional alchemy completes, past struggles recast as initiations, future beckons not gamble but guarantee under your decree. Envision the lion surveying savannah at dusk, mane rippling, not questioning kill right but embodying apex, every stride declaration of dominion, pride trailing in instinctive fealty. Your psyche evolves thus. Identity precedes action, daily decree, mirror gaze, voice thunder. I am discipline incarnate, setbacks sculpt, resistance recruits my roar. Neural imprinting accelerates, mirror neurons firing affirmations into subconscious bedrock, shrinking doubt's domain. Science unveils. Self-talk reshapes 70% of stress response. Prefrontal command expanding like kingdom borders. Force it morning right, evening seal. Victor's mindset compounds, turning whispers to worlds reshape. I crowned this truth in Victor. A Prague engineer orphaned young factories. His cradle, blueprints his solace. Yet promotions forever, eluding under timid veil. 41 staring at ceiling cracks, mirroring stalled soul. Epiphany thundered. Not lack skill, but crown unclaimed. Throne room born in mind. Dawn affirmations. Victor, sovereign of systems. Blueprints attacked as conquered realms. Colleagues slight, their limits not mine. Deadline crunch. Fuel for forge. Projects soared, patents flowed. By 50, firm his legacy mentoring mentees. Victor's throne gleamed not gold, but gaze unblinking. Mindset transmuting orphan to overlord. This sovereignty weaves through lived liturgy, potent as blood royal. Inventory triumphs daily. Not tasks ticked, but identity affirmed. Today I commanded chaos. Reframe reversals instantly. Loss becomes lesson logged. Empire expands. Surround with symbols. Throne desk chair. Victory wall chronicling climbs. Brotherhood oaths renewed. Emotional depth. Anchors. Gratitude not for ease, but edge-honed existence. Scale identity. From I try discipline to discipline pulses my veins. Resistance arises, welcome, as vassal testing reign. Override with royal decree. Victor's mindset magnetizes reality. Opportunities orbit, allies align. Universe bends to crowned will. Feel the throne beneath you now, solid obsidian grounding every breath. Power surging from base of spine to crown of skull. That pinnacle profession, unbreakable bonds, boundless vitality. What if claimed not hoped? Speak it post-silence. I own this life. Sense coronation ordinary evaporates. Sovereignty surges. Mindset isn't capstone, it's keystone, every prior chapter converging in your enthroned gaze. You force no more, You are the force, life's canvas yielding to your stroke. Legends wore this crown. Gladiators, entering arenas as gods inevitable. Queens birthing nations from iron vision. Victors' blueprint eternities. Yours script symphonies, with throne claimed, realms bowing. This chapter seals the saga. Victor's mindset as eternal sovereignty. Discipline's journey crowned. Identity. Absolute. You've traversed abyss to apex. Now live the reign.